Hey guys, this is Shjelde and welcome back to part 3 of my Classic WoW leveling guide. In this part we will go over levels 40 till 60. From levels 40 or 42 to level 45 we'll be heading over to Badlands. In this zone we have two options. For option number 1 we'll be heading over to the Lvling ravine. In this area we'll be killing Scalding Whelps for small flame sacks. The Scalding Whelps have about a 16% chance of dropping a small flame sack. Also make sure you keep an eye out for mining nodes while in this area. If you've been following the guide up until now, you should have at least 175 in mining and be able to mine mithril, which spawns a lot in this area. Also make sure you pick up the fire bloom that spawns right here. It requires 205 in Herbalism to pick up, but it's worth a lot, so make sure you pick it up. For option number 2 we'll be grinding the rock elementals all along the southern edge of the zone. The rock elementals drop elemental earth and solid stone, which sells for a lot on the auction house. Now it's up to you to figure out which of these two options are the most lucrative for you. I suggest you check the auction house to see which of these items sell for the most and then pick your option according to this. But do keep in mind that the drop rate of these items are different and make sure you take this into consideration when choosing your option. For levels 45 to 49 we make our way to Herbalism and start grinding on the spirit darters in this area. They too drop small flame sacks, but with a slightly higher drop chance. If you don't know why we are farming small flame sacks, it's probably because you haven't watched part 2 of my guide. So if you want to know why we are farming small flame sacks, you can go back and watch part 2. As you come closer to level 49, you may want to move on to the southern parts of Herbalism. Here you find hippogriffs and they are slightly higher level, so you'll be able to maintain a higher XP per hour. And although they don't drop flame sacks, they do drop valuable grey items. There is also a greater occurrence of herbs and a few mining node spawns in this area. From levels 49 to 55 we move on to the Blasted Lands. In this area we'll be grinding scorpions, boars, vultures and basilisks, and these mobs are scattered all throughout the zone. The reason why we grind specifically these mobs is because they drop valuable body parts which are used for in-game buffs. Make sure you sell the body parts on the auction house, as the buffs themselves are soulbound and cannot be sold on the auction house. There are also plenty of valuable herbs and mining nodes in this area, such as Grom's Blood and Firebloom, as well as mithril ore and small thorium veins. So make sure you also keep an eye out for those. As soon as you reach level 55, it's time to move on. From levels 55 and up until level 60 you have now 3 options. For option number 1 we make our way to Winterspring. In this zone we'll primarily be grinding the furbolgs. And what's so great about this zone is that we'll be taking full advantage of our professions. All around this zone are black lotus spawns that sell for up to 200 gold each. And rich thorium veins, which has a chance for an arcane crystal to drop, which can sell for 60 to 100 gold. And the furbolgs drop ecos along with Winterfall Firewater if you have completed the pre-quest for them. And on top of all that, you also gain reputation with the Timbermore Hold when killing the Winterfall furbolgs. For the ecos to drop you need to complete the quest Luck Be With You from the Troll Witch Doctor inside Everlook. And then you'll get the Kashi of Mari, which you must carry in your bags. And for the Winterfall Firewater to drop you need to complete the quest An Empty Firewater Flask, which is an item that can drop from any of the furbolgs. The only big problem with grinding the fur box is that the area is very contested and there may be a lot of competition, so if you end up going with option number 1, make sure you come prepared, because you might just have to defend yourself in PvP. If all the fur box camps are already taken and you don't want to fight over them, you could just go to the crystal lake here and grind on the ghosts in this area until the fur box camps are free and you can go back to grinding those. There are both rich thorium veins and black lotus spawns in this area as well, and the mobs die easily and drop a good amount of rune cloth. For option number 2, we make our way to Lvls. Like in Winterspring, Lvls also is one of the few zones where we may find both black lotus and rich thorium veins. The mobs that I prefer grinding in this zone are either the air and earth elementals in the northern part, or the sandworms spread all over the zone. You could also grind the twilight hammers for quest items, text and so on, but expect to run into competition if you choose to do so. The air elementals drop essence of air, and the earth elementals, well, we already went over that in part 2. The sandworms drop sandworm meat, which sells for a lot since they're used for powerful cooking consumables. The third and final option for this level bracket is actually back in Bastard Lands. This spot is ideal if you want to avoid PvP. These mobs also die quickly and drop lots of rune cloth and silver. But the downside to this area is there is no rich thorium veins or black lotus in this zone. But what I instead recommend is that once in a while you swoop by where the scorpions spawn and kill those, so you get the scorpiock pinchers, which, at least on my server, are the ones that sell for the most gold. Now to finish this off, guys, I just want to pop up these two charts that I showed you before. I've been showing you throughout this video series, which are the mining chart and the herbalism chart. I suggest that you take a picture of those on either your phone or a screenshot, so you have them handy and you can always reference those when you're out in the world and you want to know what skill level it requires to mine a specific node or where a specific node drops. So take a picture of these two and then you'll always have them handy. Now guys, this wraps up the 3-part leveling guide. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful, and if you wouldn't mind, give me a thumbs up if you liked it, or put a comment down below. Do both if you really want to support me. I much appreciate it. Guys, see you in the next video. Bye.